Hey everyone, happy Thanksgiving. This is my Neuroscience of Awareness blog, and I'm doing a short video on compassion. I did a video 2 weeks ago, but I wanted to follow up with a PowerPoint. So what's interesting about compassion is that it's a stress response. So what happens is the amygdala and the insula, they signal that something's wrong, but you have a whole sequence of events, a coordinated set of changes in your brain that says, like, this is something important that I want to engage and do something about. So it requires executive function, and one of those 9 functions of the prefrontal cortex is empathy. So these are what the research says compassion does. It inhibits fear, activates courage, it shifts dynamics in brain regions so that you can better manage, tolerate, and distress. And it changes the body through the vagus nerve, and it improves mental health and psychosocial functioning. So it's good for you. That's the short version is. And I'm just going to explain what happens, why it's good for you. So there's 4 steps. I go over this in more detail in my class, but it really is step 3 where the brain decides whether or not something is in, it's called your affective niche, where there's something is relevant to you or whether it's just too costly. It does a cost benefit analysis. And when that happens, I thought I would add this slide. When the TPJ doesn't get involved, what happens is the brain feels distress, a sense of obligation, or disappointment. And they basically go into like a fear state. Versus when you have compassion come on board, you have something inside you which looks at that person or that thing, and you are connected to that person. You see yourself in them, and that allows you to then make the choice. It's called approach motivation, to do something about it. Then you have a cascading series of things that happen, and you get dopamine and that reward pathway, and that neurons that fire together, wire together. It wires up the brain that giving compassion is something that's rewarding. So when you do compassion, like I just described with those 4 steps, you get increased executive function, which is this writer, this thinking about thinking. Like I said, you get activation of the dopamine pathways, and you get that down regulation of the amygdala, versus when the person is stressed out, like in this other slide. Actually what happens is people, they have so much going on in their amygdala, they're like, this is a threat, and they end up being really stressed out. Whereas if you're able to go through a whole compassion pathway, pathway per se, you're able to get benefit from it. So try compassion, see if it works, and write me and let me know if it does work. So that's my message for today, and just happy Thanksgiving to everyone.